In 12.4, we were introduced to the normal distribution. While working with the normal distribution, we learned how to calculate a z-score, and we also learned how to calculate the x value or the data item. In 12.5, we're going to do a little more on the application process of problem solving using the normal distribution. This table gives you two bits of information, the z-score and then its corresponding percentile. For this problem, it's asking us to use a z-score of 3/10. So I'll go to the table and I'll locate a z-score of 3/10, and it is right here. And we'll look at part A. Part A says the percentage of data items that lie below the z-score. So we want the percentage of data items that lie below it is going to be 61.79%. Now, when you find the z-score on these tables, the percentile is automatically giving you the number of data items that are the percentage-wise below the z-score. The second part is asking us to find the percentage of data items that lie above the z-score. If we're moving to the right side or above the z-score, what we need to do is take our first value, the 61.79%, and subtract it from the 100% in order to find the area above it. So this is going to give us a result of 38.21%. To reiterate, when you find your z-score on this table, the percentile is giving you the percentage that lies below the z-score. If you want to find the percentage that lies above the z-score, you have to take your initial value, subtracting it from 100%. So for this problem, we are going to use a z-score of negative 0.25. And we'll answer the question, the percentage of data items that lie below the z-score of negative 0.025. So we'll go locate the z-score and go ahead and circle around the matching or corresponding percentile. And you can see that the percentage that lies below will be 40.13, 1300%. Again, this is the percentage below the z-score. If we look at part B, it wants the percentage of data items that lie above the z-score. So once again, what we need to do is take the 100 100% minus the 40 and 1300%. And this will give us a result of 59.87%. So this is the percentile above, and this is the percentile below. If we recall our normal distribution, we have that bell-shaped curve, and I'll place my z-score here of negative 0.25, which would be left of the 0, which would match the mean right here. So this middle point would be 0. So from here at the negative 0.25, this area below is going to be the 40 and 1300%. And then the area to the right will be the 59 and 8700ths. So just so you can get a little more of a visual aid on what this looks like. This next problem is asking us to find the percentage of data items in a normal distribution that lie between z is 4/10 and z is 1.5. So we'll go find the z-scores with the corresponding percentile for each item. And we're looking at the 0.4. That gives us a percentile of 65.54%. And then we'll also look at 1.5. And that is a z-score of 1.5. And just so I can get an idea of what it means when they say that the percentage that lies between the two items, I'm going to draw my normal distribution. And we'll say that this is 0. My 0.4 would be somewhere about so. And I'll put my 1.5 off to the right-hand side. All right, so let me just draw a few lines in here. Hopefully this will make sense. Now, when we look up that percentile for 0.4, remember it's finding the percentage to the left of the z-score. So it's finding all of these items here to the left. And when we find the one that matches 1.5, we find everything that is to the left of 1.5. All right, so what we need to do is to take the percentile for the 1.5, which is 93.32%, and we'll subtract the percentile for the 4/10. All right, and then from there, we'll go ahead and calculate our answer, which will give us 27 78/100. Remember, this is a percent. And what we have found is this percentile that is in between. All right, so in order to find in between, what you're going to do is take the percentile of the value on the right, subtracting the percentile of the value on the left. So once again, we took the z-score percentile of 1.5 and we subtracted the percentile for the z-score 0.4 to get our answer. The results of a certain medical test are normally distributed with a mean of 130 and a standard deviation of 12. A score above 142 is considered unhealthy. All right, so we have our table that's provided for us with the z-scores and the corresponding percentiles. And our question's asking us the percentage of people with readings below 139 is blank percent. Round the final answer to the nearest hundredth as needed. Round the z-score to the nearest tenth as needed. So in order to use our table, we need a z-score. In order to do the z-score, we need to have our data item, the mean, and the standard deviation. So from the reading, we have our mean, our x bar, which is 130. We have our standard deviation, which is 12. And then our data item, our X value, is given in the reading. It says the percentage of people with the readings below 139. So 139 is our data value. So the z-score to calculate is going to be 139 minus 130 divided by 12. And when you place this into your calculator, we result with 8/10. And then from 8/10, I'm going to put this little line right here and say, go to your table now. We're going to look up 8/10. Which is going to give us a result of 78 81/100%. And this would be our answer for the percentage of people with readings below 139. So once again, we need to first read carefully, fill out the formula for the z-score. Once we locate the z-score, we will go to the table so we can identify the percentage. And then from there, the percentage is automatically calculating for us the area to the left or the percentage below the data value. Now, below there gives you a little more explanation about the same steps that I just went over. And it says on here, this final result means that there are 78.81% of the people have a reading below 139 on the medical test. And this problem states the results of a certain medical test are normally distributed with a mean of 120, standard deviation of 17. A reading above 108 is considered unhealthy. So in this case, we have the percentage of people with readings above 97 is what percent. Round the final answer to the nearest hundredth as needed, and round the z-score to the nearest tenth as needed. All right, so the first thing we need to do is identify once again what has been provided to us in the reading. We have X bar, which is 120, our mean. We have our standard deviation, which is 17. And once again, remember that use a table, we need to find our z-score. So we're looking for our X value, which it says in the reading. It wants the percentage of people with the readings above 97. So 97 is going to be our X value or our data value. All right, so for the z-score, remember we're going to take our data value, 97, minus our mean, divided by our standard deviation. We place this in our calculator and we will get negative 1.4, and that is our z-score. So once again, I'm going to put this little vertical bar here just to indicate, let's go to our table to get the percentile. So we're looking for negative 1.4. And when we find it, we get a percentile of 8.08%. All right, so we have to remember that this 8.08% represents below the z-score. We want to find the above 97, so we need to go to the right of that z-score. So in this case, we have one more step. We're going to take 100% minus 8.08%, and this will give us the area or the percentile above 97, which is a result of 91.92%. All right, let's look at this one more time. Identify what's been provided. Read carefully to find out what you're looking for. Whenever it asks for the percentile above a data value, that means you need to subtract your answer from 100%. So first we found our z-score to be negative 1.4, went to our table and located our answer for the below 97, below our data value. We use this information to subtract from 100%, give us the percentile above 97. So the answer is 91.92%. This concludes our lecture.